What up, 12s? Adam here. Thought we could talk a little bit about the running back position. We've all focused a ton on defense this last offseason, and rightfully so. We need to get better there, and especially at stopping the run. But the other thing that the Seahawks need to get more consistent at on the offensive side of the ball is running the ball. So let's talk running backs a little bit, because the Seahawks do part ways with Rashad Penny this offseason. He signs with the Eagles, and, more power to him. He's a really nice guy by all accounts, a hard worker. I think he gave everything he had. His body just wouldn't cooperate. So I do feel bad for the guy having his body betray him like that, but maybe a change of scenery will do him good there in Philadelphia. So, best of luck to Rashad Penny. Also, the Seahawks lose Travis Homer this offseason. He signs with the Chicago Bears, and they get a guy who's amazing at running the give-up play and, catching passes out of the backfield, and then also very good as a pass protector on third down. So two guys that the Seahawks are going to need to replace, and heck, I wouldn't mind if they got a third. Let's look at some of the options for RB2 and RB4 this offseason. So there's obviously two ways that the Seahawks can go about filling holes here, and it's free agency or the draft. And we all know that free agency is getting a little tight on the money side and on the cap side of things. So I would look for the Seahawks to fill in through the draft. And we've seen them be successful with guys later in rounds, whether that's been Chris Carson or undrafted with Thomas Rawls. There's guys that they can find. So I have confidence that they're going to go out and get them. We all know that Kenneth Walker is RB1, and I'm just thrilled to see him progress this next year. I think he's a crazy talent, and he's going to be amazing. But he's also had a couple injuries already, and the Seahawks have not had a great deal of luck when it comes to running backs and staying healthy. So let's look at a couple guys that could help round out this backfield or step in a pinch. So let's start with free agency first, because I feel like that's the least exciting of the two options. There's a few guys that could be available, and there's some high-end guys. I mean, I know Dalvin Cook is still looking for a new deal as of today. And there's been some big names out there like Zeke and things like that. I think they're all going to want way too much money for what the Seahawks could afford. But I do think that there's three options on the free agency market that excite me a little bit. And one would be Jerick McKinnon out of Kansas City. Now, while I would like RB2 to be more of a bruising runner, and you'll see that with the draft guys that I like, McKinnon's just a good overall back, and he's got a little juice in the tank, has some championship pedigree that he could help bring to the team, which I think is pretty cool. And I don't think he's going to cost a whole heck of a lot of money, so he would be a guy that I think the Seahawks could focus on. Number two would be Latavius Murray. He just finished a season out here with the Denver Broncos, came in mid-season after the Williams injury there. And while the Denver's offense was a dumpster fire all year, much to all of our glee, Latavius Murray came in and was a steadying force, even with coaching changes and the drama around Russ and the team and all that stuff. Now, he is 33, but he's a between-the-tackles /style runner. I like that a lot. And he's been relatively healthy throughout his career. And again, a guy that I don't think you're going to have to break the bank to bring in. So Latavius Murray would be number two. And then number three, Kenyon Drake is available. I think he's 29. Another big back that runs with a little bit more power. He's bounced around the league. He had a nice year with Miami at one point, nice year with Arizona at one point, last year in Baltimore. He'd be fine, but a guy that could come in and at least steady the ship if KW9 goes down. So those would be my top three free agents. Now let's talk about some of the dudes in the draft. And there's some exciting options here. Now, this was kind of my criteria. I was looking for guys that were more of a physical power back. I feel like as good as Kenneth Walker is, he's not exactly the most, he is very talented, but maybe not the most bruising runner between the tackles. It's not where he prefers to operate. You see that he likes to bounce it outside and try to pick up extra yards that way, which is great. And I just feel like a good power back would be just the perfect complement to him. It would be a guy that you could lean on kind of down in, down out if something were to happen to him. So my number three guy that I would like to see the Seahawks go after is Chris Rodriguez Jr. He was out of Kentucky. He is 6 foot, 220 pounds, projected to go, third, fourth, fifth round, somewhere in there. just kind of that typical. He reminds me a lot of Latavius Murray, actually. Just nothing that really pops off the screen in terms of like, wow, that guy's a crazy athlete. But he does have a lot of power in between the tackles and is a straight line runner, which is what I would prefer. And again, he'd be a later round draft pick. He did have a DUI apparently here this last year. That may cause some teams to back off of him. I don't know how the Seahawks view that and what they might do going forward regarding that, but that's a guy that's on my list. The second back that I like for the Seahawks to draft would be Dwayne McBride out of UAB, the Blazers. Yeah, a college that I don't think many people watch much of, but, McBride, he was a good back, and he's good in tight spaces, and he's a tough runner. Breaks a lot of tackles, and again, likes to run between the tackles. I like that a lot. Downside to him, that top gear just really isn't there. It's a little like Chris Carson, where if he could get through a few tackles and everything like that, he might get you 15, 20 yards, but more often than not, he's not getting you a 40-yard touchdown like Kenneth Walker with that explosiveness. Now, the guy, and he's projected to be like a second, third round pick, supposedly. So Seahawks can pick him up somewhere in there. I'd be jazzed about it. My number one prospect that I like for the Seahawks, he was the backfield mate with Bijan Robinson. He was the number 2 back, which I like because that saves some reps on his body. So he should be a little fresher. And he's just a bruiser. It's Roschon Johnson out of Texas, 6'2", 220. Projected to go in the day 3 type of pick, but shiftier than you think, had more speed than you think. Apparently his 40 times surprised a lot of people, and I don't hold it against him that he couldn't beat out Bijan for the starting spot. That guy's a special talent. But to get somebody like Johnson here later on in the draft, I think that'd be an absolute steal, and another young guy to pair with Kenneth Walker to help distribute some of the carries throughout a very long and grueling NFL season. So what do you guys think? Do you have a favorite running back out of the draft or is projected to be undrafted? Is there still a free agent that really floats your boat? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Maybe tell me I'm an idiot if you think I have a wrong evaluation on any of these guys or the wrong thinking here. But, any one of these guys at running back 2 combined with DeeJay Dallas at 3, and then whoever you bring in to be the personal pass protector and give up play guide, that's fine by me. I didn't place a ton of value on that Travis Homer role. We'll see what the Seahawks do. It's exciting time. And I think with that, there's only one thing left to say. Go Hawks.